Be in a room full of vegans, and that joke would probably go over like a lead balloon. And it sort of has, so. I'm so stoked to be among some of the greatest animal advocates out here and some of my favorite people in the entire world. And I think for the Humane League's efforts to bring all of us together, I think we need to give them a resounding hell yeah. So when I say hell, you say yeah. Hell yeah! Now there are many who claim that suffering is a byproduct of progress. Pain is a side effect of domination, and cruelty is a justified cost of doing business. But those who say these things are not in this room tonight. All of you who came here to give of yourselves to help others, you're all beautiful people, and I'm honored to be with you tonight. Although now my home is the road, my house being my Honda Civic, I come from humble roots in the state of Michigan. I was born in Detroit and I grew up in the surrounding area, and now I travel the continent year-round for vegan outreach, working to raise awareness about the plight of today's farm animals that are abused to the nth degree. It was during my time in Detroit that I developed a love and a respect for our animal friends. It was years ago that my lovely mother, who I'm lucky enough to have in the audience today, Mom, can you please raise your hand? She is the one who taught me to be kind to animals. I grew up with a very modest upbringing, growing up in a trailer park. At times we struggled to make ends meet. For years, both for our enjoyment, but also for our need, we would actually dig through trash cans at a local park, collecting bottles for the 10-cent deposit. Now, it was for our much-needed extra income, but also for our enjoyment because we loved to take in the charm that the park would provide. We'd sit by the lake, we'd enjoy the wildlife, and we'd bask in the presence of the many deer that called us home. They were just as much our peers and friends as were the other park goers. And we, in a sense, needed them far more than they needed us. Then, one day, it was announced that our cull would be happening, the first ever of its kind there. These animals, these peaceful creatures that knew nothing but compassion and freedom, would be killed in the name of some falsehood. This injustice would tear apart families of deer and send what was a haven for them into a death trap. My mom and I would not stand for this. For months, in all weather, we stood at the entrance to this park, holding signs opposing the deer hunt, working to raise awareness of the unjust cruelty going on night after closing. As an 11-year-old, I even stood up at a Department of Natural Resources meeting in front of about 100 people and uttered the words, "I don't think you should hurt the deer because they haven't done anything wrong." Our cries fell on deaf ears. The hunt continued. Many animals and many of our friends had their lives taken from them far, far too early. But there is a glimmer of hope here. As night fell one evening, we did something that still brings joy to our hearts. As we were in the park, we began howling. We howled our hearts out for minutes, which seemed like hours, alerting our dear friends that danger was near. As DNR vehicles blazed down the roadway with every light blinking and flashing, we escaped into the darkness. A few days later, we discovered that many fewer deer were killed that night, only 3. It's action that creates change, and it was action on this night, because of my mom, that helped make a difference in the lives of so many animals. It was my mother that passed on her compassion for animals to me, and her speaking up for deer that made me realize the importance of being selfless and giving a voice to those without one. Years later, after the seeds of compassion